Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is June 5th, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 109 of me answering your immigration related questions. As you can see, I have all your comments pulled up in front of me. As always, before beginning this video, I'm gonna mention, as I mentioned in every video, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's start with the very first comment question from Denise24. Denise, thank you for another comment, always appreciate it. As you can see, Denise is one of the top commenters on this channel. Hi sir, after your case becoming current and the portal is open to upload necessary documents, what's next? Okay, great question, Dennis. So as you know, there are a few stages that are involved in petition for alien relative. I-130 petition, family reunification, it's all the same thing. We're referring to it in different terminology, right? So you start with USCIS. You submit your I-130. Obviously, you submit some documentation, you submit some payments to USCIS. They review this petition, they establish the relationship and everything looks good to them. They approve it. When they approve it, they transfer it to the NVC, National Visa Center, which is part of the Department of State, for further processing. When it gets to the NVC, depending on which category you're in, if you are in immediate relative category and there is no dealing with backlog, there is no waiting for the availability of the visa bulletin, NVC sends you the welcome letter, the portal is open, you log in and you're able to do all the documentary qualification process. Once you are done with becoming documentarily qualified, you wait for the US Embassy to schedule the appointment for you to go actually do the interview and get the actual immigrant visa. Obviously, in between the getting that interview, you also do the medical examination. Now, there is a little bit of a difference if you are not in immediate relative category, but instead we are dealing with what is known as the visa backlog, which is what we check on the visa bulletin. If you are dealing with the visa backlog, a lot of times USCIS approves the case and sends it to the NVC, and NVC does not give you the full access to the portal until close to the availability of the immigrant visa. So let's say if you have to wait, let's say 3 years because of the backlog for the availability of the immigrant visa, NVC will keep it locked, your portal, for about 2 years, and when you are about 1 year away from the availability of the immigrant visa, they open up the portal fully where you can go in, log in, and pay all the fees, submit all the documentation, submit the affidavit of support, the application for the visa, the DS-260, and become documentarily qualified. And that's really what the part of that becoming that documentarily qualified. If you haven't seen the video, and it goes for everyone, not just Dennis, it goes for everyone who's watching this video right now. I actually have a video on this channel. It's called Documentarily Qualified. What does it mean? Check it out, because in that video I show a real NVC portal of the person who was already documentarily qualified, who already got their immigrant visa, who already got their permanent resident card. So the case is closed. But you can see the actual portal, how it looks, what kind of applications, right? The DS-260, the affidavit of support, how much they cost, the fees, and which documents you need to submit. If you can prepare before your portal is open, and you know that your portal is closed, if you have the case number, if you have the invoice ID, and you're logging into the NVC and it says log in later or something along those lines. Somebody actually, one of the subscribers to this channel, she actually posted a message that the NVC portal says that is locked. It says something like, we're still waiting, blah, 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 log in later, something along those lines. So you actually have to wait for the welcome letter. But once you get the welcome letter, that's it. Now it's the ball is back in your court. I don't remember what was the right expression, but now it's up to you to log in and submit all of the documents. And the sooner you can do it, if you have everything ready, prepared, you can do it, much sooner. And the sooner you do it, obviously, the faster you become documentary qualified. And from then on, it's just really waiting for the remainder of time for that immigrant visa. So Denise, thank you very much for your question. Appreciate that as always. Let me post this and we're going to move on to the next one from Rajiv Kandelwal. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. Can I renew my B1, B2 visa 1 year before expiry? So that was comment on I-539, application to extend change non-immigrant status. So Rajiv, I think you might be asking me about the actual B1, B2 visa. Here's the thing, the I-539, if you are extending the stay, right? So, because that's what you're referring to. You're referring to the renewal, so the extension of stay, so it's longer. You are not extending the visa itself per se, but you are extending the stay within the United States based on your B1, B2 entry, if that makes sense. So here's the difference. Let's say you have your B1, B2 for 1 year. You enter the United States, most likely, most of the times, I would say 90% of the times, you get a 6 months duration of stay once you enter the country, once you enter the United States. With this I-539, whenever you're extending, that's what you're extending. You're extending the duration of stay. You're not extending the validity of the B1, B2 visa. You're extending the duration of stay. Obviously, if you're changing, then yes. If you're changing the status, then yes. Then from B1, B2, for example, you're changing to, let's say, I don't know, student visa, for example. Yes, in that case, your whole B1, B2 changes to the F1. That is, completely different visa. And obviously, you will have the duration of stay associated now with the F1, which might be longer, most likely will be, because most of the times the F1 is given for 1 year compared to B1, B2, 6 months. So, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you are outside of the United States, if you're planning to, to do this, you won't be able to do this. The extension of stay is only once you enter the country and you submit it and you are trying to extend the existing duration of stay that you have received when you were going through the Customs and Border Protection. So I really hope that makes sense, but if it doesn't, please let me know. And for everyone, if you're watching, if you have any follow-up questions, don't hesitate to ask them. Just make sure to post them. Don't respond to my comment within your comment because YouTube does not send me notifications for those. Submit a separate comment in any of the videos and it will show up here on this wall. Alright, moving further to SHSJ. Hello sir, my case F4 2007. Kidna time. I'm not sure what these words are, but F4 2007, if I'm gonna assume it's all chargeability. All chargeability, they take about, let's take a look. Actually, they are 2007. So depending on which month you are in, you are really, really close. Unless you are, of course, in one of these chargeability areas like India, Mexico, and Philippines. China is the same as all chargeability, but India, Mexico, and Philippines, they do have a little bit of a longer wait. Well, Mexico has a lot longer wait, Philippines has 5 years longer, and then India has 2 years longer than all chargeability area. But if you're all chargeability, then you're really around the corner for the availability of that immigrant visa. So congratulations, that's definitely good news. Depending on which month you're in, should be really, really close. All right, moving further to Susie, George, Jordak. Thank you guys for another comment. Appreciate it. Hi, and thank you again for your help. Anytime. Any news about the COVID vaccine mandate for green card applications? It will be lifted anytime soon. Please keep us posted. You're the only person who answered this question. Thank you so much. God bless you and your family. Susie and George, thank you very much. I appreciate your kind words. So I am definitely checking. There is still no news on that yet. I have actually submitted a letter here locally to one of the elected officials with this issue. So I know I've recommended in multiple videos already to do that. So everyone who's watching this video as well, this is definitely unfair. Please make sure to reach out to your local elected officials. That can be senators, that can be congressmen, that can be whatever other state representatives, doesn't really matter, whoever, whether federal or state. Reach out to them and tell them that this is not fair, that these COVID vaccine mandate has been lifted for everyone, except immigrants that are applying for their adjustment of status, which is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So if you can, please submit that letter. It really don't have to be official. It just let them know that this is ridiculous. Obviously, be polite and professional. But again, you can refer them to the decision of Homeland Security as of May, I think 11, May 12th, when they dropped for all the international travelers. So literally anybody can enter the country now without any kind of proof of vaccination, which is great. I never supported that in the first place. That's fantastic. You don't need no proof of vaccination. You shouldn't need any proof of vaccination to enter anywhere in the world. What is this? This is ridiculous. But this is my personal opinion. If somebody supported it, fine. But now it has been lifted, all right? So let's lift it from everybody else. They should have lifted it from the immigrants first, because immigrants have been in this country already for that long, and they already have, done a lot of things to. Yeah, I'm getting out on the rant, but yeah, Susie and George, I'm definitely staying on top of it. I'm checking it every day because I have a petition myself, and on one of the petitions, there is the date is coming up for that medical examination, and yeah, this is crazy. So hopefully it will be lifted. Man. Alrighty, let's move on to the next one. From Sher Ali Khan. It means only documentarily qualified will take 5 years and rest other procedures also. Oh, Sher, I think I responded to your question. Okay, so Sher, if we're looking at the graph A, that is for the availability of the immigrant visa. So that is in the best case scenario, because this is dealing with the backlog, and the backlog keeps growing, so there will be obviously more time that will be added, unfortunately. But in the best case scenario, judging by these dates, yes, that is availability of the immigrant visa, so all of the process is already involved. Graph B, however, is showing us the opening of the NVC portal. So you still, after becoming current on the graph B, you're still dealing with becoming documentarily qualified. You're still waiting for availability of the immigrant visa. That's really the difference. Alrighty, so let me post this and we're gonna move on. And Sher Ali Khan says, thanks bro, you're very welcome. Moving further to you Rock, thank you man, I really appreciate it. It helped me save minimum 5-6 hours. Thank you. Well, you Rock, I'm glad it helped you that much. I'm surprised it saved that much time, but I'm glad it did. Alrighty, moving further to Benedette OB. Actually, Benedette commented on this video that I recommended in the beginning of this video. Documentarily qualified, what does it mean? Real NVC case status, something, and that's how it looks. Check it out. If you have not been documentarily qualified yet, and you're waiting for, this is coming, you're dealing with the I-130, petition for alien relative, check that video out. It will definitely be helpful for you. Okay, so Benedette says, hello, thank you for your updates. I didn't receive my welcome letter, but NVC gave me a case number and invoice ID number after one of my inquiry forms replies. How can I make payments and upload my documents? When am I supposed to start payments and upload documents for my applicant to be documentarily qualified to be scheduled for an interview? Thank you. Benedette, excellent question. Thank you very much for asking. So what it means is that because you have not received a welcome letter, because the NVC portal is still closed, and it is still closed because you're dealing with the backlog of the visa bulletin. So you need to be looking at the graph B of the visa bulletin. Depending on which category, and if you want, you can let me know in a separate comment that the category that you're working with, the category of your beneficiary, and the chargeability area, as well as a priority date. And I will be able to tell you approximately when the NVC portal should be open. But you can do it yourself, and I'll explain you how to do it. You're looking at the graph B of the visa bulletin. You can find the link in the description below. You're looking at the graph B, so depending on which category your beneficiary is in, let's say, for example, you're petitioning for, let's say you're a US citizen and petitioning for your son or daughter who is 21 years of age or older, right? Unmarried. Then we're looking at the F1 category, and let's say it's all chargeability area. So right now, as of June 2023, people in F1 category with a priority date back in January 2017 are just now getting their full access to the NVC portal. So for example, if your priority date of your beneficiary is in 2020 in F1, it means that you're roughly 3 years away from the NVC portal fully opening up so that you can become documentarily qualified. So let me know if you want, I can do this estimate for you, but hopefully what I just explained makes sense, and you can come up with your own estimate. It's really good that you found my video documentarily qualified, because you can prepare and have all of the documents ready, and once it opens up you already know how it's going to look, and you can just quickly fill out the DS-260. It's very simple application. There's really not much. It's just a visa application, very basic. Pay the fee, affidavit of support. Hopefully you already know, on this channel I have the minimum income that is required in order to be the successful petitioner sponsor. Not successful, but to become documentarily qualified, to show enough income to petition for someone. So you have that, you'll have tax returns and all of that, all the documents that are shown in the video, and you can just upload them quickly and be done with it. But if you're dealing with the visa backlog, and it sounds like you are, yes, unfortunately you do have to wait for the NVC portal to become fully open. Okay, let me put this response here, and we're gonna move on to the next one from Lambo. Lambo, appreciate you reposting your question. Like I said, your first original one got buried somewhere amongst the comments. So Lambo says, out of 10, how much important is it to hire a lawyer for applying permanent resident when entering the United States as a refugee, and how much does it cost? Lambo, excellent question. So here's the thing. I would say the hardest part of the process, the hardest part of the particular, let's say, path, immigration path that you're referring to, refugee, and that goes both refugee and asylee, because it's very similar. The hardest part of that path is the refugee asylee status. So getting that refugee status, getting that asylee status, that is the hardest part. Applying for permanent resident after you already have been successfully, granted your refugee status or your asylee status, and you have been for a year, you maintain that asylee status, you maintain that refugee status. Applying for a permanent resident based on 1 year refugee status is literally just going USCIS and then submitting the application for adjustment of status for applying for permanent residence. That's really it. And I do have the video on this channel, and in fact I'll use this question that you asked me as an opportunity to demonstrate for everyone some navigation on USCIS.gov, which is the official government website for US Citizenship and Immigration Services. So we're gonna go to forms and then click on all forms, and then I think it's 485. Let me double check. 485. Yep, there you go. Application to register permanent residence or adjust status. That's really it. That's what you will be dealing with once you have been for a full year a refugee. That's what you're doing in order to apply for the permanent resident, to become a permanent resident. And then once you're a permanent resident, 5 years later, you can apply for naturalization to become a naturalized US citizen. And like I said, on this whole immigration path, the hardest, and I would recommend an immigration attorney, is the refugee asylee part. If there is some kind of denial that is involved, if there is something that is involved that, things didn't go as planned, and now you're dealing with an immigration court or something along those lines, yes, in those situations, I would say 9 out of 10, definitely consider an attorney. If you can find a good one, and I have a video on this channel, how to find a good attorney, check it out if you're interested. Now, back again to applying for a permanent resident. Can you hire an attorney? Absolutely. Will they do that for you? Absolutely. How much they will take? Yeah, it can range anywhere between few $1,000s to $10,000, depending on what kind of attorney it is, depending on where their office is, right? If you're getting an attorney on Wall Street, they will charge you more. If you're getting an attorney on some Avenue N, Brooklyn, they will be much less, all right? And really, will that mean that that attorney is better than this? No, absolutely not. In fact, it might be completely the opposite. It's a gamble. It really is a gamble. That's why you have to spend. If you're willing to spend that much time and resources to find a good immigration attorney, you're probably might even in a lot of times be better off spending that time and resources to do your research on how the application works, on reading the instructions. And in fact, even if you do consider to get yourself an immigration attorney, which I have nothing against immigration attorneys. I had experience with some amazing immigration attorneys. Only one. That guy was fantastic. That guy was absolutely fantastic, and I almost really wanted to hire him so that I could pay him, because he was that good to me. He completely gave me all the information that helped me solve my problem, and he didn't even ask me to hire him or anything like this. He just gave me all the information, and it was amazing. It was great. It was great to know that people like this exist. But of course, all of that happened after I have been through like 5 different immigration attorneys that were absolutely horrible, and some of them even ruined in a lot of ways my case. So I've dealt with both. Regardless, whether you're working with an attorney or not, you do have to be familiar with your case. You do have to read the instructions. You do have to be familiar with the application petition that you're submitting, so that you know the process from the beginning to the end. So that if something is going on with the attorney and he's not doing his job, you're on top of your case and you're able to resolve the problem yourself. Because at the end of the day, our cases, it's our own responsibility. Just because we're hiring an attorney, it does not mean that that's it. We're just paying them and they're dealing with everything else. No, you will be doing a lot of work regardless. All of the documentation that you have to provide to USCIS, you will be providing it to the attorney. The application, most likely, you will be filling out yourself and providing to the attorney. So a lot of times with the applications and petitions, I don't see the reason. So out of 10, how much important is it to hire a lawyer for applying for PR? To answer that question, sorry I took so long to get to that. I would say unless your English is really bad and like you just absolutely don't understand nothing about bureaucracy and dealing with these applications, and you can't read the instructions yourself, or you read it and don't understand it, in that case, I would say maybe you do want to look into an attorney. But if you understand English, if you can read the instructions, if you got your refugee status on your own, that is a huge step that you went through. Out of 10, it's like 3 max. maybe even less. But then again, I'm not good with numbers. So Lambo, I'm gonna put a link for this page right here, because it sounds like your application for permanent residence is coming up, and I do have a video. I don't know if it's updated on this channel, where I go through the application itself. Check it out. Make sure that you compare, if you're watching that video, make sure you compare the edition date. As of right now, looks like they have just recently updated as of February 2023. I don't know if I have the video on the updated one. I'm gonna check. If not, I will make an updated video sometime soon. But always check the edition date just to be on the safe side that it's the most updated information. Alrighty, moving further to Michael Mendoza. Sir, good afternoon. When is the effectivity of Dignity Act 2023? Thanks. Michael, thank you very much for the question. I don't know the answer to that question. Let's take a look. So, Dignity Act. Let's see if we can find Dignity Act 2023. Here you go. So looks like people are searching for this. Dignity of the individual workers. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Nope. Okay, well, let's see the very first thing. Enhancement of labor and employment of laws. See there works. No, that looks like an old information. No, nothing here. Nothing on here. Let's try dhs.gov. That's the Department of Homeland Security, with the rainbow on the very front page. Let's see, Dignity Act. Let's see if there's something comes up. Secretary. Nope, nothing about the Dignity Act here. So, Michael, if you can, please let me know where you have seen that Dignity Act, because a lot of times before these acts, before these bills are actually passed, you know, they are advertised everywhere, all over the internet and all these different forums. They come in and they say, oh, this is gonna be great, this is gonna be great. Look, news, awesome news. Which actually is not a news, it's just, you know, it's a clickbait a lot of times, because that stuff actually did not pass yet. And until it passes, it's, you know, it's really useless for us to know that information, because if the Dignity Act is not even, you know, it's not even on the table, it's not signed yet, there is really no purpose to it whatsoever. And as you can see, I mean, I'm assuming the Dignity Act has to be something with immigration, because you're asking it on, you know, free immigration help channel. But as you can see, not the USCIS, not the Department of Homeland Security. Let me try to do this on the travel state GOV, one last shot. Let's see if something comes up from the Department of State. I probably not. Let me just type it in here. Dignity Act. Or here, Dignity Act. There we go. No, it's just treaty. Nope. No, nothing at all. So let me know where you've seen that, and I'm gonna take a look at it and see what it's all about, and I'll do my research on it and see if I can find some of the information online. But again, whenever it comes to doing your research, whenever it comes to checking your information, whatever it is, if you're dealing with immigration, any kind of government, bureaucracy, whatever, let's call it what it is, always use the official government sources. That's just the only way to do it. Alrighty, moving further to Patient Sula. Did you know even the time you can submit an inquiry is increasing? For example, mine used to say the earliest you can contact us is February 2024. Now it says June 2024. Wow. Patience, thank you for letting me know. It's, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, honestly. I'm not surprised that everything is growing. The backlog is growing. The processing times are growing. The system is getting worse. It's not getting better. You know, they are spending too much time. You see, this is what they're spending time on. This is what they're spending time on. Right here is the money, taxpayers' money, that they are redirecting into the stuff, instead of working on the cases, the family cases, instead of working on people's cases that have been waiting for years. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at the chargeability areas for Mexico. F4. If you're a U.S. citizen, naturalized U.S. citizen from Mexico, and you still have a brother or sister who lives in Mexico, and you are legally want to petition for them to come here to live with you in the United States of America, as of right now, you have to wait. If you submit the petition today, as of right now, you will be waiting 23 years. More than 23 years, because the backlog keeps on growing. If you are a married son or daughter of a naturalized U.S. citizen who immigrated from Mexico and who petitioned for, so think about it, U.S. citizen petitioning for a son or daughter in Mexico, you're going to be waiting for 26 years. without consideration that the backlog keeps on growing, because these people that have been waiting for that long now, the time when they were looking at it back 10 years, it was showing completely different time. It was showing much less. Now it's showing this, and it's gonna keep on growing, and it is growing, because if you checked May visa bulletin and June visa bulletin, it was copy paste. There was absolutely no movement. This is the stuff that Homeland Security, Department of State, USCIS, that they have to be dealing with. These are the real people. These are the real immigrants. But instead, you just saw what they're dealing with instead, and they even forgot. This is the truth. And if let me see the names, Susie and George. If you guys are still watching this video, I am 99% positive that the reason why they didn't take out the requirement, the mandate for the COVID vaccine during the medical examination for the immigrants, for the adjustment of status, for the permanent residents, I am pretty sure that the only reason why they didn't take it out is because they forgot that it was there. That it didn't come to their attention yet, because that's how much they don't care. And we see it. We see it in numbers. We see it in processing. We see it in things getting worse and worse and worse. We see where their attention is going. You just saw it all. And instead of where it's supposed to be going. So really, at the end of the day, this is a part of dealing with the bureaucracy. This is part of living in the materialistic world of the flesh, where everything that we do with our pride, with our thinking that we know better, that we can make better, and creating things of our own, thinking that we're gonna do something better, it only gets worse. And that's the nature of things. So I pray that people that get involved in these processes, that's the realization that they will come to, like I did, and seeing all of this and trying all of this and understanding all of this is a lesson in itself. So thank you everyone for your time, as always, for watching. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.